Good afternoon. This is the video newsletter for buysellshort.com for Sunday, March 1st. Another ugly week on Wall Street. We actually had huge volume on the Dow on Friday. Granted, large portion of that was related to month-end selling, and also we almost had 2 billion shares traded on Citigroup. But as you can see, the last couple of times we've seen massive spikes in volumes, we saw a nice big pop the next day on the market. So let's see what happens tomorrow. We haven't touched the 20-day exponential now in about 3 weeks, and that's sitting up around the 7,600 area. We've got the Dow RSI down around 30. Everyone and their mom is extremely bearish. On late Friday, we had Reuters come out and say that Bank of America had 5% of their loans, $44 billion, that weren't marked to market and were classified as long-term investments, hinting that that was bad news for Bank of America. That is typical accounting practice. I'm actually surprised Bank of America doesn't have more of their loans classified as long-term or being held to maturity. But then again, it's just another one of those cases where, the media is trying to put as much negative spin on everything. Not that it's very hard these days, but just an FYI, Reuters is a known paid media outlet for short hedge funds. So the fact that pretty much non-news has been picked up by other media outlets might reek of desperation to cause a gap down on Bank of America and then a rally. But still, as I mentioned, we're looking for a substantial near-term pop on the Dow. We're down 1,200 points over the last couple of weeks. We've got the 20-day exponential sitting up at 7,600. Everyone is bearish. All the news is bad. If we flip over to the daily chart, you can see we're stuck in this bullish falling wedge throughout this 1,200 point drop. We're waiting on the golden cross to happen on the 15-minute time frame. Getting pretty close. The Friday sell-off, though, probably makes this not happen until Tuesday. Perhaps tomorrow if we get a big bounce. But we're looking at maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday turn on the market. Put-call ratio, big bounce off, these lows that we saw the other day, but this indicator, we're actually going to throw it to the side for a while. It's been pretty much off kilter for the last month, so things are out of whack on the put call ratio, so we're going to just put it to the side and not pay much attention to it near term. SMH, we got a nice pullback over the last 2 days. We got a fat scalp play on this one. We sold out on Wednesday. Gap down, time to start rebuying. 1650 and under on this one, looking for a move back over 17. Ascending triangle is still in play here. Whether this is the beginnings of the third breakout triangle or part of the second triangle, we'll find out this week. HUI, Gold Bugs Index, Golden Cross looming here, but not for another month, I would say. So we could see some downside move in gold near term. Financials, battered over the head on Friday. Like I mentioned in the chat room, look for the shorts to now start going after the higher price banks. Wells Fargo looks like it's going to be the next victim of the short attack. All of this brought about by Paulson's stupid policies late last year that has pretty much incentivized the shorts to go after bank stocks because there's, no downside for them. Government's going to come in and, let the shorts win. That's just what's been happening lately. But UYG 220s, add back target with a target of 250 plus in the next week should we see the rally that we're looking for. We're not going to get that rally without financials, so that's the reason we're looking at the UYG versus, playing individual banks. GNW is our other way to play the financial bounce. This stock has been bouncing back and forth in a nice, 20-30 cents range over the last couple of weeks. Still hasn't tested its 20-day exponential since that sell-off, and as you can see, after every previous sell-off, it at least touches at one time. So we get a bounce back in the financials, and GNW will be a beneficiary. Like the UYG, this play takes a strong stomach to play, and therefore, those of you that aren't able to see large gap downs and then bounce backs should stay away from the financial sector. Serious Quick mention on this one, had a huge bounce back on Friday. This stock is still trading at bankruptcy levels, even though, their debt issue has been pretty much taken care of for now. If this sees a pullback to the 13 cents area on Monday, would look to enter a new scalp on this one with a target of 25 cents again. We've been getting a big spike in this one every week or so, so this one looks like it might be getting another one of those spikes. Indicators look pretty good. RSI was able to hold 50. ADX continues to be strong, and stochastic's on-bounce volume suggests a nice pop on this one near term. ELN, hate talking about this stock. Crappy management has doomed this stock, but it's been consolidating nicely over the last week. Breakout is 650 here. That could give an easy 10% scalp in the next week. Again, stochastics are under 20. Every time stochastics drops under 20 on this stock over the last several years, it sees a very nice bounce back in the stock. And the last couple of consolidations for about a week have seen big up moves on the stock, so keep an eye on it. LJPC, La Jolla Pharmaceuticals, again, nice pop on Friday. This one's trading at bankruptcy levels. I mean, there's bankrupt stocks trading at a higher, price than this stock. Beginnings of a move up here. We're looking for a move back to 12 to 15 cents on it. Last week saw a bunch of hedge funds bail out, and that typically happens before these stocks go on large bounces. RFMD, this is one of our tech plays. It's been trying to break $1 recently. We get our tech bounce, and this one should see a pretty nice spike in it, just like the last time we entered it under 1, and then we got a 50% move out of it over a week's time frame. Stochastics nicely oversold and starting to turn up, and again, this is a small tech stock play because, that's the sector we're playing right now. LVLT, keep an eye on this one. I do not like tech stocks or stocks in general that have high debt loads, but this one could be possibly getting ready for another move. It's been pretty active in this sell-off, positive trading over the last couple of days, so going to keep an eye on this one Monday. All the indicators suggest this one's getting ready for a spike. Stochastics about to ready to pop. We're going to get a positive ADX cross on Monday. We're also going to get a positive MACD cross Monday or Tuesday. And, breakout here would look possibly to nibble this one around 70, 72 cents. And target would be 90 cents. Not a bad percentage return in a market like this. THQI, decimated since its earnings warning. This is a, video game maker. But over the last couple of days, again, this one has been showing signs of life. RSI has come up through 30. Stochastics are oversold, and it looks like the sellers have washed out on this stock. So if we do get a possible retrace on this one Monday, it might be worthwhile picking up a very small scalp position on this one with a target of the 20-day exponential at 290 plus. E-Trade battered with the financials. If you stopped out of this one, possibly keep an eye on jumping back in if it's able to hold its 79 cent support this week. And then last but not least, quick mention on APPY reporting earnings this week. Earnings don't matter on a biotech stock. What we're looking for is an update on its drug trial. Remember, it tanked from 7 all the way down to 1. If we get any sort of positive news on this one, it could see a nice 25 to 50% pop. So, keep an eye on this one. Small nibble on the shares that we sold back at 2 a couple of weeks ago. Time to nibble back into that position down here in the 130s. So again, things look really, really bearish out there. Everyone is very biased, very short, negative on everything, and, expecting the end of the world and the sky to come crashing down. Typically, that's when we see very nice, big bear market bounces, and that's what we're looking for this week. We're not overly committed on the long side. A lot of our positions are just small positions, so be ready if we do get the beginnings of that move to jump in long. That's it for the video update. I'll see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Goodbye.